Greetings to you from wherever you're watching us. Thanks for joining us on the Friday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, on the show tonight, we will talk about the Super Eagles and the dead rubber, of course, in the AFCON qualifiers, talking about the game against Sao Tome and Principe. We'll give you a slice of boxing on the show. And, of course, we'll talk about things going on the domestic scene. We'll talk badminton, and hopefully we'll talk about, of course, what's going on the ice, talking about bobsled and skeleton. We'll talk about those games all for you as we go on the show. Just like I said, we're going to see, should I call it a battle of the greats? We're going to see, of course, Francis Ngannou and, of course, Tyson Fury. They will be coming up later on. As we go on, let me just quickly introduce our partner in the Lagos studio, while my colleague Austin Okon Akpan will join in later on. Dr. Agumbiade joins us now. It's been a while, Dr. Greetings to you. Yeah. Thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show.
Yeah, good evening. Very fine. And how are you doing, too?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Just like I said, there's a lot to talk about. My colleague Austin Okon Akpan will be joining in shortly. And of course, we will be taking this trip together. But while we wait for Austin, before we came on set, I was asking you a few questions about, Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou. First, let me start by asking you, do you see it as a proper boxing match?
Yeah, it is a word of two different words actually coming together to go to the bout, talking about the ring, to take up on each other, talking about the man who has been talking tough when it comes to boxing. They call him the running mouth, talking about Tyson Fury. And Ngannou, who is actually not, is a martial arts person, and coming up against this man who is the current WBC heavyweight champion, world champion. I think it's really going to be a very wonderful one, because we are looking at two different persons coming from two different sports. Though it look alike, talking about kicking and boxing and what have you. But I think it's really going to be something extraordinary that we've not seen over the past years.
All right. A lot of people said it's a mismatch. That's what a lot of people have, because Francis Ngannou is used to, just like Dotun said, kicking and doing all sorts. He will not be allowed to do that. Both have been promoting their bout. It's going to be in October. And both of them have been speaking ahead of this fight. And Dotun, like I said, a lot of people feel it's probably going to be one-sided. We saw Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather. We saw what he turned out to be. Are you expecting any different? But a lot of people have also told us that Francis is actually good at boxing, and he has Mike Tyson in his corner.
Of course, he has Mike Tyson in his corner, and he said something. He said he promised Tyson Fury a knockout. And if you look at it, he holds the world record of the heaviest puncher. So if you consider his world record being the heaviest puncher and coming up against the Tyson Fury, who is also a fantastic boxer, we should be looking out for a big bout. And Tyson Fury said a defeat in this particular one is unthinkable. Then coming from Tyson Fury, unthinkable defeat, and coming from Francis saying he's really going to knock him out, I think we should be looking out for something extraordinary. That's what I think.
All right. One common denominator is that both have, I don't want to say both boxers, but I have to, because Francis is coming to the ring. But both guys have shown a very high level of respect for each other. And of course, Tyson Fury saying, look, I trained for 6 weeks for Deontay Wilder. For this guy, I'm training for 12 weeks. It's unthinkable losing to this guy. And just like Dosman has said, Francis is promising the boxing world a knockout. Will that knockout be enough? We've seen Tyson Fury go down and come up and eventually winning matches. Let's listen to the gladiators now. Let's start with Tyson Fury. We'll come back for more. Sports Tonight.
Let's not forget, I only trained 6 weeks for Deontay Wilder. I'm doing 12 weeks for Francis Ngannou. 12 weeks. So I need to be on my A game, because there's more on the line now than a boxing fight. if I lose to a number one contender or another champion, it's like, well, he lost to a champion, whatever. But if I lose to an MMA guy, I'm never going to be able to show my face in public again. It's going to be ridiculed. People are going to chuck it at me forever. So there's more riding on this than there ever has been before. And whether the media want to take it as a joke or whatever they want to take it as, make no mistake, Tyson Fury will leave 0 stones unturned, and I will come in at my fittest and strongest and best I've ever been to defeat this man. And if I'm not, and I get knocked out, I want you all to laugh at me. That's what I want, because I'll deserve it. Only an idiot wouldn't train the bollocks off of somebody like Francis. The man's a machine, and I'll give him 100% respect. And I'm in the gym every day training, and I can't do no more.
I'm coming for everything.
Good, and so you should. And if you beat me, you become the lineal world heavyweight champion. It goes back to the days of John L. Sullivan, the man who beat the man who beat the man who beat the man, going back to the olden days. You will be the Uno, #1 in the division. So yeah, fantastic opportunity, and fair play to you if you can do it. I'll walk across the ring, shake your hand, give you a kiss, and take you out for a beer. Alcohol free, of course. 100%. I'll beat you at boxing. I'll beat you in a cage. No problem.
No, bro.
No problem.
Focus on boxing.
No problem.
For right now.
That's not boxing, and I'll beat him in a cage fight. No two ways about it.
All right, thanks, Fury. Very interesting comments from Tyson Fury. Austin Okonawan is ready now, and I'm very sure he's going to jump straight into this conversation. Greetings to you, Austin. And let me just throw this at you quickly. Tyson Fury is used to berating his opponents, is used to telling us how he's going to dismantle his opponent. Is there a lot of respect for Francis? Is he trying to make us watch this bout? A lot of people are saying it's a mismatch.
What a greetings to you, Yemi, and everyone joining us on the show. So here in the United Kingdom, I've been following different conversations, and people are a bit divided about this fight. There are some who feel it's just showmanship. There are others who feel that Tyson Fury should be very careful, that this shouldn't be the way he should, have a first loss, in his career. And Francis Ngannou, comes with so much, should I say, respect. You need to just go and take a look at his MMA career, and you don't want to disrespect him in any way. Notice how he can't even talk so much. He just wants to get into the boxing ring and then do something different, with his career. For Tyson Fury, this is everything on the line, and he said it clearly. He said he prepared for Deontay Wilder with just 6 weeks, and then this fight is taking 12. People will say this is part of the promotion that they've paid him for. Go out there, pump up the fight, make it look like this is one fight you really want. But this is Tyson Fury. This is arguably the best heavyweight boxer in the world. The Gypsy King has been there, done that. And he said that if he should lose to Francis Ngannou, it makes Francis Ngannou the linear heavyweight champion of the world, and that we haven't seen that in boxing in a very long time. So there is a record at stake, no matter how people try to water this fight down and make it look like, oh, he's all for the glamour, he's all for the money. We are going to Riyadh again. And of course, they're using it. Saudi Arabia is in to tell the world that we can bring the big sporting events to, this part of the world. But I've got so much respect for Francis Ngannou, and you need to respect him. He's African. He's from Cameroon. He loves Africa. He's been doing so much to support sports at the grassroots. Tyson Fury, don't you just miss hearing him talk like this? Don't you love the vibes when the Gypsy King gets into the room? He lights up everywhere, and that was what he did at this presser. I can't wait to see the fight. I don't think that he's overdoing it. I don't think he's doing too much. There's something on the line, and this is heavyweight boxing, Yemi, where just one punch and everything will change.
All right, let me throw this at you. Because you know so much about what's going on. Tyson Fury's need of base. Do you see Tyson Fury going there? A lot of people have said they've spoken to people who have faced Tyson Fury before, and of course, one of his British rivals talked about the fact that he thinks Tyson Fury might go down, but it won't be enough for Francis to win. And so if you're looking at this bout, do you think Francis Ngannou has the power in that fist to make Tyson Fury go down?
I think it does, and he's a big guy. And if you go back to his MMA, record and see the way he used to take out opponents, then Tyson Fury needs to be careful. But this is Fury again. Everybody is always forgetting. Don't watch the trilogy fight with Deontay Wilder. Go watch the first and second, and you will respect Tyson Fury as a fighter. You know, I just have people. Now, I call him fighter. You see, I didn't just say a boxer, because he went down, I think, twice or three times, and he got up. He got up and went on the attack. You know, so call him obese. He was teasing Ngannou. He said, "Oh, touch my belly," you know, and that he's the fittest, you know, sportsman in the world, you know. It's heavyweight boxing, and I think he understands the science of his body. This guy has mastered the art of, you know, going all the way and ensuring that his body is even like a shield for him, you know. Ngannou, yeah, will come with a lot of technique, with mixed martial arts, but he's not a boxer. Tyson Fury switches so easily. Fury can take him out even with the jabs. Fury can go around that ring and get Ngannou exhausted, you know. If he could do it with Deontay Wilder, that was such an athletic boxer, and it made him look like he was an ordinary fighter, and even put him down. So nobody has any right to disrespect Tyson Fury if you go by the records of everything that he has achieved with his boxing. So yes, while I respect Francis Ngannou, that he can come out and his heavyweight boxing where it's just one punch. If you doubt it, go watch Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. Go back to even the days of Mike Tyson and the sort of fights he lost. You can tell that with heavyweight boxing, it's just one punch. But this is Tyson Fury that will tell you, put me down 3 times and I'll get up 4 times attacking you. You need to give such a boxer his flowers.
All right, that's true. All right, so it doesn't appear like we're partial. We've listened to the Gypsy King. I guess it's time to listen to Francis Ngannou. Let's listen to his own side of the story. We'll come back to talk some more Sports Tonight.
And I always ask myself, like, what will happen at the moment that guy hit the floor and doesn't stand up? Like, are you the best boxer in the world now? Like, what would that be? I mean, if you take out the number one, you're the number one, right? I think so.
Yep.
But it's really hard to think about it. I think for right now, I'll just focus on, like, take him out, then I'll figure the rest out after.
Tyson?
It's something magical, right? I grew up just know Mike Tyson as a face of boxing, and I get to the point that my first boxing match, the guy in my corner, the guy that, I mean, I was in the gym with him training and was having those same sensation, like, is this real, right? This Mike Tyson, right? And he was talking like, go, again. And I'm like, this is Mike Tyson on my corner for my first boxing match. This is real. And even that, after training, after we're done, I get ready to get home, and I'm like, man, one more. This is real. Just live the dream. It was amazing. So the motivation, the wisdom, the knowledge that he brings, for me, is something unique. For me, it's something that, I mean, he's been there tens of times, hundreds of times, which I haven't been there, so he knows a lot about the game. And if there is one person that I have to trust, that I can trust as far as boxing concerned, is Mike Tyson.
All right, Francis Ngannou, very excited to have Mike Tyson, I am Mike Tyson, in his corner. Well, Dotun is still with me, and Dotun, before we go to football, that's the king of sport, but in a few seconds, Francis is not a professional boxer, no matter what he knows about boxing. He doesn't have that experience. But having Mike Tyson in his corner, can that be like an equalizer?
I would not say that, because the motivation and the training doesn't make up the fight sometimes, because training and the fight, proper
Match
fight,
day,
they are different ball games. So if you look at it very well, it all depends on what Francis is looking for. And if Francis is looking to become designed to become the world champion, as Fury has said that if you defeat me, you become #1 in the world, definitely we will go all out to make sure.
So it's all about desire.
It's all about desire.
All right. Dotun puts it down to desire. October is when that bout will take place. We'll see what happens in all of that. So let's move on. Let me just quickly yield to Austin now. It's time to talk about football. Talk about well, is the dead rubber, the Super Eagles up against Sao Tome and Principe. We've already qualified. The boys are in town. They're ready, in tip-top shape. I don't know if I have any expectations. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
I mean, the worst can't happen, but I bet you won't be able to sleep if the Super Eagles of Nigeria don't beat Sao Tome and Principe. That's what is at stake, you know. You wouldn't, look, win the AFCON today and let Nigeria prepare to play Sao Tome and Principe the next day. Fans of the Super Eagles expect them to win. There are certain games that you just expect the Super Eagles to win, particularly the sort of game that it was, you know, a whitewash in the first leg. I think about 10-0, the Super Eagles won this one, you know, and now the second leg is just all for formality because, as you said, they've already qualified for the next AFCON. But what about the data? What about the statistics? What about the records? What about respect? You know, when you talk about football. So those are the things that are, you know, at stake in this sort of fixture, and you cannot afford to sleep because this is Nigeria. Whenever they play, everyone expects them to come all out to win. We know the players are already in camp, as you can see right there. They've already done some training sessions, and I love some of the invitation that Coach Jose Pizarro did this time. It's good to see Victor Boniface on the team. It's good to see Gift Urban. That forward line is packed. So we'll get to see what they can do. Maybe they can give us a basketball score line against Sao Tome and Principe. Let's take a look at the invited Super Eagles players, and then we'll bring in our guests, you know, because everyone gets to talk about this sort of fixture and the players invited. But first, let's see the game's details. I mean, if you could just run us through that, and then we'll see players invited, and then we'll bring in our guests to just take a look at the data, you know, surrounding this sort of fixture.
All right, let's, you know, take our viewers through the list of players. Austin has alluded to some of the names already there. And there you have it on your screen. Francis Uzor is in there, Olorunleke Ojo, and of course, Adebayo Adele. Those are the goalkeepers in the squad. All right. Talk about the defenders. Ololuwa Aina is in there. He plays for Nottingham Forest. Tyrone Ebuehi is in there. Jordan Charun Riga is there. William Trust Ekong, Shemilogo Ajayi is there as well. Calvin Bassi, Jamilu Collins, Bruno Oyemechi is there. He plays in Portugal. For the midfielders, Wilfred Ndidi is there. Wilfred Ndidi, I'm a Nigerian. Wilfred Ndidi, that's the name. Rafael Oyedika, Joe Aribo, Frank Oyenka. Those are the guys that will be playing in midfield as a composition of the midfield. For the forwards, Austin said it and I agree. It's loaded. It's loaded. African teams should be scared of the Super Eagles. Now you have Kelechi Iheanacho, Samuel Chukwueze, Moses Simon, Ademola Lookman, Victor Osimhen, Taiwo Awoniyi is in there. Gift Urban, Victor Boniface. This is full of stars in this one. Just a quick one before we bring in our guest from the other side. Some have said, I don't know if you agree, it's a dead rubber. Why not use the home-based Eagles? And some have said this is an opportunity for the players who naturally will not get a chance to show what they can do.
Of course, I will always agree to that particular statement, saying that the players that have not been playing regularly, talking about the players who are not the mainstay in the team should be given the opportunity to actually take to the field, to the pitch, or do whatever they know how to do based on the fact that we've qualified already. This particular team we are playing, talking about Sao Tome, we got the better of them, even in their very home, by a very heavy score line. And going into this one, we should be thinking of, okay, let's give opportunity to the players who have not been representing us so we can see what they can do when the other guys, the big boys who have been doing it regularly, are not available. Maybe injury creeping or what have you or anything. So let us give all these guys the opportunity to go to the field of play and showcase what they can do.
All right, let me use Austin now quickly. Let's see if we can bring in our guests. I mean, Austin, we're not under any pressure. you look at the table,
Sure.
it's very encouraging.
Very encouraging. The Super Eagles got the job done. But, you know, at some point it was nervy, but they won when we needed them to win and then pick the ticket to the AFCON. Just because we need to go on a break now, keep the guests waiting. But when we come back, a football data analyst will join us. It's right here with me in London. We'll take a look at what sort of data commands this sort of fixture against Sao Tome and Principe. We'll talk about it. Don't go anywhere. Stay.
Welcome back. While we wait for our guests to join in, let's take a look at Group A, what it looks like. Okay, all right. Let me hold that for now. Our guest is ready. Let me yield to Austin as we have this conversation, looking at the stats and looking at, what we could get from that Sao Tome game.
That's right, because, you know, that's the same question you asked me, Yemi, that what is it to look forward to in this sort of fixture? And that's the same question I want to ask Shola Degbele, who is right here in London with me. He's a football data analyst. Shola, good to have you on Sports Tonight.
Hi there. Thank you very much for having me today, gentlemen.
Awesome, Shola. Good to be with you on the show. Shola, it's Nigeria versus Sao Tome and Principe. You know, I've just been taking a look at the statistics surrounding this match. The first leg, the Super Eagles won 10 goals to nothing. They've already qualified for the World Cup. What's the data saying? What is commanding this fixture on Sunday?
Right. So what we know is in the reverse leg, as you mentioned, Nigeria won 10-0. That was our largest ever win on record. So we broke our previous record. On the match on Sunday, we expect the team to play a 4-4-2. That's based on the squad that was called up. And when we look at the squad that you guys mentioned earlier, we see a lot of strikers. So we have Osimhen, Ballon d'Or candidate. We have Victor Boniface, Bundesliga Player of the Month candidate. We have Awoniyi, who has scored 7 goals in his last 8 matches in the Premier League. We have Awoniyi again, who's also a candidate for the Premier League Player of the Month. So we have a lot of firepower up front. On the call earlier, you mentioned about giving new players a chance. We will see some new opportunities for some players. When we look at the goalkeeper situation, Uzoho is back. But that was our number 1 at the AFCON last year. But in our last match, Adeleke started. So it will be interesting to see if the coach sticks with Adeleke or he goes back to Uzoho. At right back, in the last 4 or 5 matches, we've had Bright Samuel Osayi at right back. But in this fixture, he wasn't called up. We have Olaeno at Nottingham Forest, and we have Ebuei, who plays in Serie A. So it'll be interesting to see who the coach goes for at right back.
Awesome. That's looking at the side of the Super Eagles. But I'm taking a look at this forward line. It's packed, and you mentioned some of them: Victor Osimhen, Taiwo Awoniyi, Victor Boniface. In this sort of fixture, do we need a Victor Osimhen?
Very, very good question. I do expect Victor Osimhen to start. I think the key question here is who will partner with him up front in the 4-4-2. Will Jose Peseiro go with Iheanacho, tried, trusted, and experienced, a player who can drop deep and support the midfield? Or will he go with a Victor Boniface, somebody that can play in all 3 forward positions? He can drift to the wings, he can play up top, and he can drop deep. Or will he pair Victor Osimhen with Awoniyi? Nobody knows at this point, but I think the coach has selected this team in mind for the AFCON that's coming up in January. So we know we've already qualified, but this squad that he's called is to prepare us and to get the players in camp for AFCON.
I'll let you just, take a breather before Yemi takes over. The Super Eagles of Nigeria will take on Sao Tome and Principe on Sunday, September the 10th at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. The governor of the state, Victor Umaino, visited the team and he's been talking. Let's listen to him.
That's the table. You have it there. I was alluding to it earlier. Looks very comfortable for the Super Eagles. We're going to listen to the governor of Akwa Ibom later on. Visited the squad of the Super Eagles. But what you've just seen is how it looks after 5 matches. Nigeria comfortable. We have qualified. And let's even move forward and also show you the teams that have qualified, the nations that have qualified, as we prep to show you the visit of the Akwa Ibom state governor to the Super Eagles camp. But first, let's show you a list of the teams that have qualified. I'll read it out for you. Very interesting. Nigeria has qualified with a game to spare. And that's it. On your screen, qualified teams. Côte d'Ivoire, the host, they're right there. The Atlas Lions of Morocco, Algeria have qualified. South Africa has qualified. Zambia, Equatorial Guinea, Nigeria, Guinea-Bissau, Cape Verde, Mali, Guinea, and Ghana. These are the teams that have qualified for the nation. You have Angola in the mix, Tanzania in the mix as well. These teams have booked their place at the African Cup of Nations, the 34th edition of the African Cup of Nations, to be held in Côte d'Ivoire. Let's go to that insert. We talked about the governor of Akwa Ibom visiting the camp of the Super Eagles.
Akwa Ibom will attract the world's attention the next couple of weeks. And we look forward to keeping you here. I'll visit you many more times. I'll see you at the football field, maybe coming to encourage you in your locker room, and then just win the match, and then let's have a good time. This is a home of happy hour. And
because if you use the best conditions with the best players, you can improve our team. Thank you very much for your time more. Sure, we will do our maximum for beat Sotomayor and play well.
That we are very, very happy to be here. Me personally, it's always a very great honour to be in Rio. It's the coach's first time. We've played some magnificent games here, and we want to do the same on Sunday to make you proud.
All right, you listen to the governor of Akwa Ibom, in there, Coach Jose Pizarro, and the captain of the Super Eagles, William Troost Ekong. All right, before I yield back to Austin, let me just quickly ask you, Austin, made me understand that whatever I think, Nigeria should always be beating Sao Tome and Principe, and anybody will be disappointed if that doesn't happen. But quickly, in terms of prediction, I mean, do you see a basketball scoreline?
I'm looking out for that. Though the gaffer in charge of the national team of Sao Tome said that they will not allow that kind of heavy scoreline they experienced in the first leg, and that they will come all out to make sure that they limit the Nigeria attackers. So let's just look for something like 8 to 10-0 again.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay, let me just throw in one for Shola before I yield back to Austin. I mean, you've been giving us the stats. You've been looking at how, the likely formation of the Super Eagles. But I want to ask you, as a lover of the Super Eagles, as somebody who's into data, what do you think is the best playing formation that suits the Super Eagles with the current squad? I may not be surprised if these are the guys that will go to the Nations Cup. I'm not saying that they're the ones that will go, but there might not be any surprise, maybe one or two. So if this is what we have, what suits us? What kind of formation can get the best out of these players?
I think based on the players that we have at our disposal, the 3-5-2 would be my ideal formation. That's 3 defenders, 2 wing backs, 2 midfielders, and 2 strikers. With this formation, we will be able to have 2 strikers on the pitch at all times. So that's Victor Osimhen and the partner. We'll be able to have Bright Othai and Sanusi when he's back, bombing up and down the wing back positions. We'll also be able to make sure that our defense is stable. For the past 5 to 6 years, we've had the Oyibo wall, but we no longer have that anymore, and we're trying to rebuild our defense. That's why I'd say we need 3 centre backs. And lastly, if you look at the squad, we've only called up 4 central midfielders. What this means is that historically we were a 4-3-3 team, but with a lack of personnel in the central midfield areas, it's best for us to play a formation that only utilizes 2 midfielders. So 3-5-2 would be a formation for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back to Lagos with Dotun. Dotun, yes, I said before that this is Sao Tome and Principe, taking on the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and if Nigeria wins a major competition today and they are taking Sao Tome and Principe tomorrow, the fans expect them to win. On that statement, do you think the Super Eagles will be under any sort of pressure, particularly with fans like you already expecting a blowout result?
No. I don't think the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be under any pressure, owing to the fact that they know they are facing a side that is less fancy when it comes to football in the world. They will always have at the back of their mind that during the first leg of this same encounter, they got the better of them, they pummeled them, they trashed them. They actually got the better of them with a very heavy score line. So going into this particular one, they will feel so relaxed. And even, I just don't want them to be overconfident owing to the fact that if they look down on this team, they may be given a shocker. But if they can actually go with their A game, with the confidence they had in the first leg, and how they've actually prosecuted all the other games they played during the qualifying series, this game should be another victory for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And if you look at it very well, I just want to digress a bit to react to the formation. Yemi asked the other time. I think a 4-2-4 formation would be better for the Super Eagles, owing to the fact that we have limited central midfielders and we also have fantastic attackers up front. Defenders, we have them doing up very, very well, even with their respective clubs. So I think a 4-2-4 formation would be quite fine for the Super Eagles. And the question, winning the game is all we needed. They should all go to the field and make sure they get the maximum 3 points.
Okay.
Let's come back to Shola right here in London. Shola, the Super Eagles, they are returning to Uyo, the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. That's one ground that football fans, as such as you, have been saying should be made the ground for the Super Eagles. Would that make any difference in Sunday's fixture against Sao Tome and Principe?
Yes, this is one of the best bits of news I've heard regarding the Super Eagles in a very long time. We know that Pesiro wants to play a very attacking, aggressive style of football, and it's very difficult to do that if we do not give him the right conditions to play that nice, slick passing game. I've seen pictures of the training pitch. I've seen pictures of your stadium, and the stadium looks very well. I've seen a few of the players have commented on it, so I'm looking very forward to it. I expect us to play very, very well, and I'm sure the Super Eagles will deliver based on the pitch alone.
So that's it, Shola. The pitch set, the players are set, Jose Pizarro set. Let's see what the Super Eagles will give football followers in Nigeria on Sunday. Thank you so much, Shola, for your time. We'll get to engage you again, maybe right after that match. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's right. Shola Edegbele right there in London, United Kingdom football data analyst. Let's go back to Lagos. Dr. I want to ask you the same question that I asked Shola. They're returning to Uyo. Does that excite you?
Of course, we've been looking out for this particular one over the years, owing to the fact that the playing tough, the condition and everything is wonderful for football compared to what we can see in the other part of the country, not talking down any other pitches. But if you look at it very well, what we've been able to see at Uyo is just a world-class football equipment. Talking about the playing surface and the stadium at large.
All right, so that's good to hear. But I mean, probably let me throw this in because we have other things to talk about before we go on in. The fact that the situation with the coach of the Super Eagles did not become an issue. I don't know, whatever happened behind the scenes, we were reading all sorts, but somehow they sat down and they sorted it out and then pushed everything forward. Is that the reason why there's a bit of a calm?
No, of course, you will say to a large extent that when there is chaos behind the scene, definitely it's going to reflect on the surface. But what we've been able to see in the last couple of weeks is the fact that the Nigerian Football Federation, they actually went back to the drawing board like they do see, and they sat down, they talked to themselves, they said that we can't actually not embark on this particular journey, calling it quit with this man.
Few months to the
Nations Cup. We saw what happened during the last Nations Cup, calling it quit with Gaffer, and going into the Nations Cup, we saw how we pushed out of the tournament because we lack the technical, the manager lacked the technical know-how to actually think out the team to the next round of the tournament. But I think the Nigeria Football Federation, they've done a yeoman's job.
Got it right with this one.
They got it right 100%.
All right.
I give to them on this particular one.
All right. Of course, Dotun agrees with how the situation with the manager has been handled. All right, let's talk about other sports, and let's go on and talk about what the Bobsled and Skeleton Federation of Nigeria, what they've been doing. Of course, they organized a one-day push championship held at the National Stadium in Lagos. And of course, pictures right there showing the event. The event showcased the nation's brightest talents in bobsled and skeleton racing, and it served as a pivotal opportunity for the Federation to rank and assess athletes who could represent Nigeria on the international stage. And pictures from your screen showing that much. Let's enjoy some of these pictures and also listen to the president of the Nigeria Bobsled and Skeleton Federation, Solomon Ogba, speak his mind on what has been done. Come back for more Sports Tonight.
Push! Great stuff, great stuff. 5.93 seconds. 5. Let's go. They're on me right there. 8.50 seconds by Ferrami.
Like more than 50% of this sport is actually done outside of ice. And one of the things you need to achieve first is your ability to push, ability to jump, and the ability to run. So, because we don't have ice in Nigeria, what we needed to do is to take care of the first segment of the sport, which is the push. Now, this year, this September, we are going to be attending an international push championships in Italy. You know, I hope we get the visas, but we are ready to go. So this is, we are introducing the sport to Nigerians through the push. This is what everybody here can do. And this is what we are used to. Those of us from Bendel, you know, we do what they call Boris. So this is not new. You do the Boris from high elevation down to the slope. So that's what we are doing. And honestly, when we went to Korea to be on ice, all of them did very well. Being on ice for the first time, they all did very well. So this is the base of the sports, and that is why we keep doing it, bending well. We don't have ice here, so we must go outside to do the ice. No, first of all, we have presence everywhere in the country, and we've told them, you see, to build this rail, this track, you know, it's not easy. So we need states that will be ready to provide the facility to, and we are talking to a couple of states to be able to, the facility has to be provided. We have athletes elsewhere who have not used this rail before. They are doing the normal build-up, the normal conditioning. They are doing all of that. But they won't be able to come here because they've not been able to train on a rail. But maybe in the next 1 or 2 years, we will have people from all over the country coming to compete.
All right, as the athletes on their skills, what is evident is that the bobsled and skeleton racing is already gaining traction in Nigeria, and hopefully they will get more support and we will get more athletes involved in all of that. All right, we're on the home stretch now. Let me yield to Austin. Let's talk some about badminton before we wrap things up on the show, Austin.
Yeah, you know, before I get into badminton, I just want to commend the Bobsled Federation in Nigeria for being innovative. You know, when Nigeria broke that record at the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, Tikshiwa Adigu and Ngozi and the last lady named beat me and went to the Winter Olympics and made record. One thing we said was we were to use it to develop bobsled and skeleton in Nigeria, and I'm glad that this is happening and we can see it. Let's talk badminton now, where the president of the Federation, Francis Obi, has admitted that the International Badminton Classics is setting a new standard for Africa, and I totally agree, because that competition, whenever it comes to Nigeria, players are pumped up, Nigeria comes with the right vibe, and it's another avenue for the country to take a look at badminton and see ways that it can get developed. Obi said that the tournament achieved notable landmarks because it was the first time there would be a Brazilian winning the contest. He also noted that it was the first time also that an African, and by extension, a Nigerian, would play in the quarterfinals of an international badminton tournament. Now, that's a jinx that has been broken by Africa's #1 player, Anu Opeyori, and being a Nigerian just makes it sweeter. Let's listen to Francis Obi as we get ready to, wrap up the show tonight.
In the past editions, no Nigerian has played in the quarterfinal for any of the singles, men's singles, women's singles. But in this year's edition, for the first time in Lagos International, a Nigerian and an African played in the quarterfinals. And for us, that's a huge achievement. But that's not the end of the journey. We want to be able to be in the final. But like I said, it's a journey, and we are hoping from quarterfinals, we will appear in semi-finals, and then in the finals, and possibly just leave the trophy. So it's a wonderful experience. We are very elated. We are happy that against all odds, he's been able to come out this beautiful and successful. Whenever I see people who have never watched a badminton game live before, I go out of my way to bring them in. And when the game is going on, I do something. I watch and observe them. The excitement is unbelievable. People are jumping, people are, all sorts of gesticulations. So it's a very beautiful game. And I want to say, for people out there who have not had the experience, you should come, whenever you hear badminton, come and see what the beautiful game is all about.
I totally agree with you, Francis Obi. A lot of persons talk about sports other than football and make it look like they don't do anything. Dotun, it's badminton, another badminton national classics gone, and we're seeing the benefits. What ways can Nigeria leverage on organizing this sort of international competition?
Well, if you look at this very well, you see that it's really, really encouraging to see a Nigerian get to the quarterfinal, and it is something we have been looking out for when it comes to international tournaments, because we've been participating in our badminton championship, and we've not been trying to stamp our authority when it comes to that particular sport. But on this particular occasion, we see a Nigerian actually getting to that particular level. Then if you can actually take a solace at take a courage from it, going into other tournaments, we can actually get even to the final and win it as well. That is what I see about this particular one.
Yeah, totally agree with you, Yemi. I think that's how the curtain falls on this edition of Sports Tonight on Channels Television. That name I was trying to remember, the bobsled team was Shehu Adigu, Ngozi Owumere, and Akwog Okeoma. That's the show in London. I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, we're about to go, but I want to thank Dotun Agunbiade for his time on the show. Dotun,
thank you as well.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you.
We'll do this again some other time.
Of course, of course.
All right. That's the show today. We do hope you enjoyed everything we brought to you today. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next week. I'm Ibadiwaya. Bye-bye now.